China's rule of law functions as one of the primary means of cultivating a harmonious society of internal stability and social order, where conflicts are managed in the interests of overall social cohesion. The democratic people's dictatorship is composed of the four classes of Chinese society: the national bourgeoisie, the petty bourgeoisie, workers, and farmers. Deng Xiaoping pointed out that although China's socialist economy and political system were imperfect, they have continued to improve and are much better than the capitalist system, based on the law of the jungle and the principle of getting ahead at the expense of others. Our system will improve more and more with the passage of time. By absorbing the progressive elements of other countries, it will become the best in the world. Capitalism can never achieve this. Elsewhere, he added, democracy in capitalist societies is bourgeois democracy. In fact, it is the democracy of monopoly capitalists. It is no more than a system of multi-party elections, separation of judicial, executive, and legislative powers, and a bicameral legislature. Ours is the system of the People's Congress and the People's Democracy, under the leadership of the Communist Party. We cannot adopt the practices of the West. The great advantage of the socialist system is that when the central leadership makes a decision, it is promptly implemented without interference from any other quarters. In contrast to the Anglo-American legal system, based on the supposed separation of legal powers, the Chinese system was created through a combination of socialist innovation and traditional Chinese practices to produce a legal system that is not only functional, but also promotes harmony and moral virtue by reflecting the democratic will of the Chinese people. According to Xi Jinping, Chinese law epitomizes the ethos and wisdom of the Chinese nation and contains many excellent ideas and concepts worth passing on. These include the governance strategy of enforcing public discipline through the application of both morality and law, the people-centered concept that the people are the foundation of the state, and only when the foundation is solid will the state be stable, the wish for social harmony without lawsuits, the idea of prudence that prioritizes moral enlightenment over legal punishment, the concept of equality that advocates passing judgment in accordance with the law and ensures that the punishment fits the crime, and the principle of leniency towards widowers, widows, orphans, childless couples, the elderly, children, women, and people with disabilities. All of these shed light on the wisdom of Chinese traditional legal culture. Despite the many examples of Chinese law reflecting the democratic will of the masses, Western critics insist on characterizing the Chinese system as authoritarian, framing China as desiring to expand its control outward. But Xi Jinping responds to these accusations by reiterating that China will never seek hegemony. As China continues to grow, some people start to worry. Some take a dark view of China and assume that it will inevitably become a threat as it develops further. They even portray China as being a terrifying Mephisto who will someday suck the soul of the world. Such absurdity couldn't be more ridiculous, yet some people, regrettably, never tire of preaching it. This shows that prejudice is indeed hard to overcome. In addressing the question of whether the party is above the law, Xi Jinping stated, "This question itself is problematic and is a political trap. We must leave no room for confusion, but answer the question clearly. Party leadership and law-based governance are not in conflict, but inherently coherent. Our country's laws embody the will of the party and the people, and our party acts in accordance with the law, which manifests an inseparable relationship between the two. All party members should keep in mind that the party leadership is the soul of our country's socialist rule of law and the biggest difference between Chinese and Western rule of law."